All right. Peace and love, Moors. Been a while since we did this, but I'm going to share this Holy Day class with you. It's Holy Day. We come together on a holy day, and it's an important reason why we do this that was discussed during this class briefly, and I think you will all receive enlightenment from this. So I ask that everybody watches this and shares this with your friends and family, and of course hit the like and share button, and if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe. Peace and love.
I am not a Negro, black, colored, African American. And I'm a Moorish American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soared through the shores and endured criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried gin. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with a high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods, and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan, Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right. Islam. Once again, I want to thank all you for being here, for tuning in. Once again, this is a holy day class. We talk about why we meet on the holy day, what this whole Moorish Science Temple of America is about, our government, what it is, how it works, what the Prophet did, why it matters, how it works in a practical manner today, and also we discuss our divine creed. A lot of people, thinking like, I'm not religious, I'm not really trying to mess with this stuff, I don't want to hear y'all preaching. I get it, I understand, but we cover all that. So I think this is important. This is something that everybody needs to check out and share. Okay? So yeah, make sure you click like. Everybody click like so the metrics can get up, so that the video can show up to more people in their news feed, and also share this. so that we can help get the message out. And once again, just appreciate everybody. And that's all that I had to say. I'm gonna go ahead and tune everybody in to the actual Holy Day call. All right, and once again, if anybody wants to join the call, just send a private message to this Moors in America page. You could comment on a video, or you could send a message, and we'll get you the info so you can join the call. He was. Right. So while this video gets started, just everybody make sure you like, share. Peace.
Islam. Islam, peace and love.
Peace, peace. How you doing?
All's well. How you and the family?
Hang on a second. I think we had some issues with that video. Hang on. Let me get it up and running. Okay. All right, I see what happened. Okay, so yeah, anyway, while we get this up, just hit the like and share button. Once again, we're gonna go in. Very important lesson. Everybody needs to check this out. Everybody needs to share this. Okay, and I'm not just saying that. There's a lot of key information shared in here, and I think this will be enlightening for everybody tuning in, and helpful also. All right, so here we go. All right, Islam Moors, happy Holy Day. We're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, all meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you're able to, please rise up east. All right. Allah.
Allah.
Father.
Allah.
Father of the universe.
Father universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
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 Peace.
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 Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night and by day.
By night and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Raleigh.
Amen.
Amen.
Islam is.
All right, Islam. I want to announce that the meeting is now open. First and foremost, we rise, we give the highest praise to the Most High, Father of the universe, Allah. We give honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality. We give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We also give honors to all the ADF sheiks and all the faithful Moors that make up the grand body of the Moorish divine and national movement. In addition to that, we give honors to the first appointed supreme grand sheik by the prophet, and that's our brother Emily Ill. We give honors to the current supreme grand sheik, brother K. Dandridgel, and honors to the Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Honors to all the faithful on this call. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Now, let's see. Brother Seymour Bay, do you have your divine constitution in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Islam, would you mind reading that for us?
Islam. Peace. I rise and give praise to Allah, Father of the universe, to His holy prophet Drew Ali, to Moors nationwide, worldwide, and all the faithful Moors on the call. Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is in power to make law and enforce the laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in the flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of the flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister or any accusation that might harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and partial of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negro, colored folk, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must now proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with the necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey the father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam, Islam, Islamism.
All right, Islamism. Thank you, brother. All right. So before we get started today, I see we have a couple new people. So just want to make sure everybody understands what we're doing here. We meet on Friday, every Friday, the holy day. This is a holy day to us. We have divine laws, divine instructions, divine customs that were returned to us by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He returned us to our ancient ways. And just the fact that we meet on this holy day, this is the 6th day. All right, the 6th day. If you look on here on the screen, this is a model of the tree of life from the Kabbalah. If you look at the 6th day on there, it's in the middle. It's that circle in the middle. It says the Tefereth. This is the 6th day. This is when we meet. In our Quran questionnaire, it says, why do we meet on the holy day? And the answer is that is the day when man entered into the flesh, and also the day when man departs out of the flesh. Okay? Friday's the day on which man was formed in the flesh, and it was on Friday when he departed out of the flesh. Okay? And that's there's ancient wisdom in that. This is linked in to this chart that you see here. We're on the Tefereth, the 6th day, which is the holy day. All right. This, from the perspective of this chart, going from 1 on down, this is the spirit realm. This is the soul plane. And then when you get down to the bottom where it says Malkuth, that's the physical realm, the physical world. All right, so the Tefereth is right there in between of the spirit and the physical world. And that's where we're at on that 6th day. That's actually where man is from a Kabbalah perspective. So we hold to these rights. We hold to these ancient customs. All right. And that's why we meet on this Friday and we study from our Holy Quran. It was divinely prepared by Prophet Noble Drew Ali for our earthly and divine salvation. In addition to this, in addition to returning these customs and rights and laws to us, the Prophet established a society for us. It's called the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right. And there's an aspect of it called the Moorish Divine and National Movement. He actually set it up in Cook County, Illinois. And he established a religious society. All right. And by doing this, it's protected under the United States of America's Constitution. We have religious freedom to do what we're doing, where we have a society where not only do we teach our people about their nationality, people can come in, proclaim their nationality and work together with their people, right? Relinking ourselves back into the family of humans, which is something that was stripped from us. But he also set up a legitimate nation. When you look up the type of organization that he set up, this Islamic Nation State, it's a body politic. And when you look up body politic, you look up the international law dictionary definitions of it, you'll see that a body politic is a government. When applied to government, this phrase signifies the state. As to the persons who compose the body politic, they collectively take the name of a people or nation, and individually they are citizens when considered in relation to their political rights and subjects being submitted to the laws of the state. And then also just letting you know that a body politic is actually a nation. All right, is often used in a rather loose way to designate the state or nation or sovereign power or the government of a country or municipality. All right, and so the Moorish Science Temple of America is actually a government. He created a nation that's legitimate, that's recognized by all the nations of the world, including this one, that we're in the United States of America. And the only thing it's waiting on is for us to come into it, because the way that it was established is set up in perpetuity. So even when the membership died down, it's still there, just waiting for us to come in, right? This is our government. And so we meet every Friday and Sunday, and we go over our laws and our society so that we understand it, because no one else is going to teach you this. You're not going to find a clear, definite, defined explanation of your government on the internet, because there's all types of stuff floating around out there. There's stuff that will have you ruining your life. Like there's bogus information out there, bogus information in the streets. So you're not going to get a clear, definite, structured explanation of what we have anywhere else. This is it. And they definitely, of course, they're not teaching this in school and in the mainstream media. They do everything that they can to not talk about this. All right. There's people who are leaders, people who are, who've been respected in our community for years and decades, who have been misleading our people. They know better, and they won't mention this. They would rather use the terms that the Europeans created for us to abuse and subjugate us. Okay, so there's nowhere else you're gonna learn this. All right, so we have a legitimate nation state, an Islamic nation state. Excuse me, this is truly the only sole foundation for our people. Before we get started, though, I want to ask the new people to please state your name and location. If this is your first time calling in, please state your name and location. If you don't want to speak on the mic, that's fine. Send a message to one of our co-hosts.
I will speak. Can you hear me?
Islam, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Felicia McDaniel. I'm Purple Haze on Instagram. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Okay, that's wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, thank you for calling in. If you could, on the side, send a message to the sister Douglas L or brother Jackson Bay, just with your, excuse that, with your name, email, and phone number. And you say you're in Los Angeles, right?
Yes.
Okay.
How do I do that?
Okay, are you on the phone?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I
There's
see
a
a
chat room
pin.
in here.
Let me see.
And you can actually click on the screen where it says everyone. So you send messages to everyone. You can click on that and send it to individuals instead of just to everyone.
Oh, got you. Okay, I found it.
All right. Okay, great. And I just wanted to make a general explanation of what we're doing, why this is important. But of course, if anyone has questions, feel free to ask them. Once we go through the Quran lessons, we'll just open the floor up. There's no questions that are, we don't shy away from anything because, we feel pretty confident in what we're working with. So, yeah, I just want to say there's no questions. It's too tough. And also to the other, I think the other sister in here, would you please state your name and location?
My name is Aisha Essig, and I'm currently calling from Georgia. Just moved from Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, great. Okay. So you are connected to Columbus a little bit. Okay, that's where we're located. So, okay, cool. If you could too follow those same instructions that I gave the other sister, if you could send a message to either Sister Douglas L or Brother Jackson Bay, just with your name and phone number, email. All right. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be reading from chapter 27 in the Quran today. So once again, hopefully everybody understands, like, when we're reading words from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, all right, these are laws. These are divine laws. Why? Because he was divinely inspired by Allah, literally, to help wake his people up. We were in a state where the majority of us didn't even realize why we were suffering. They didn't know that Negro was a label that was created specific and defined. Like, there were books written about how the Negro is a beast. It's a quasi-human. It's just here to get abused. It's savage. We're blessing it with Christianity. We're giving them good Christian names because they're savages. They have nothing. And so that's why we are still in this predicament to this day. It doesn't matter that the name has morphed. It went from Negro to colored to black and now African American. And when you're just sitting back and looking at that, that is so stupid. Nobody else gets their name or their label changed like that. And then also, nobody else needs special rights to vote. We still don't, as as Negroes, because it don't matter if we call ourselves African American today, because it still means the same thing. So it doesn't matter. As Negroes, we don't have the right to vote. They have to renew our rights to vote every 20, 25 years, something like that. The Voter Rights Act. That doesn't hit anyone else. That's for us. Like, why aren't we covered under the Constitution like everyone else? So the prophet came to take care of that, right? To bring us back under the constitutional fold. And why under the constitutional fold? Because our ancestors created all of this. The Constitution was based off of the Great Law of Peace, which was designed and written by our ancestors. You had the several civilized nations, tribes here, different tribes. They had the Great Law of Peace. And this is what the Europeans based the Constitution off of. Everything, this whole government, even with the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, all that was based off of us. When they came over here and they saw delegates ruling on behalf of the people, that was based off of us. Even having women who were in leadership, that's what we were doing over here in the Americas. Before the European even knew anything about traveling and going anywhere. So when they got here, they saw something that differed greatly from the what they were suffering under in Europe, because they had they were coming from having tyrants, you know, who owned all the land, and they were just serfs, they were just peasants working on it. And they were coming from situations like this, where power is being abused, and they came here and they saw, you know, different people ruling who were ruling on behalf of the people. And there were checks and balances in place. And so they applied that system to themselves and they flipped it on us, right? And so the prophet came to correct that and to bring us under this constitutional fold so that we can pick ourselves up. And then who knows, eventually, maybe we can go even further and greater than that, because eventually we're to be the leaders of the entire world. But we can't go from 0 to 100 overnight, right? We have to move. We have to fix ourselves. We can't fix the world. We have to fix ourselves first. All right. And so like a lot, like half of the Quran is dedicated to getting ourselves to bettering ourselves, getting us in more in alignment with our higher selves, the higher aspect of us that's always connected to the Creator. And that way we will be fit to rule, which is good because that lines up with this whole lesson, holy unity of the rich and the poor, getting you in the right mindset to even be able to rule. Okay, so the prophet took care of that. And now it's on us to follow suit and to follow the examples that he left behind. And it's extremely important that we learn this and know what it means. Because like I was saying earlier, they're not teaching this on the internet. They're not teaching this in the streets. And they definitely aren't teaching this in the mainstream, right? Nobody's teaching this in any schools, on TV, any of that. They act like it doesn't exist. And even some of our people help conceal it. There's some people who know about the prophet and they won't even speak on them. All right. So yeah, this is very important. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and go into chapter 27, and then we'll open the floor. Right, chapter 27, the holy unity of the rich and the poor. All right, and just in that wording alone, the holy unity of the rich and the poor, that's suggesting that they're connected, that they both answer to Allah. Okay? Because, you know, for the most part, I mean, like, people tend to think of the rich, you know, they're evil, they're messed up, right? They serve Satan or something like that, but it's not supposed to be like that. Okay? And in this Quran, in chapters 25 through 30, we're given the foundations for our community, like how to conduct ourselves. Like chapter 25 has the holy covenant of the Asiatic nation, and that's given us the sacred oath that binds all Moorish Americans into a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a nation. In chapter 26, we're given the holy instructions of unity and how it's maintained. And now we're in chapter 27. And before I go into here, you know, it's really important that we understand our holy covenant, because this is where our salvation is, right? And this is when we can make this work, when we can put this into action, it empowers us in real life, right? Because it's not like just people saying, once again, file paperwork, or, you know, whatever people are saying online. People are saying all types of stuff. That's not really where the salvation is. Because if you're living a foul life, or you're doing, you know, you didn't even fix yourself, but you're trying to do like some scheme or trying to push some quick fix thing, it's not going to work, right? We have to fix ourselves, and as a collective, we have to have checks and things in balance about how we conduct ourselves. Like, we have to be on code. And so this is getting us on code, and it's getting us on the divine code. So this is of the utmost importance. This is where the saving power is. We in coming together within our Islamic nation state, and then understanding what our holy covenant is, you know, understanding our divine origin and acting like it. Like, once you know your divine origin, that you come from the creators of civilization, because that's what we're taught, like within our Quran. And this is true when you really go into who the Moors truly are, and how they built pyramids all over the world. They had a worldwide civilization. They even had a worldwide language, and that we're connected to that. Once you get into that, then you realize you have to live up to that. So we have to pick our conduct up, right? So we are returning to our divine creed and moving as a unit. All right, and this like the divine side of the Moorish Science Temple. It's impossible to teach, because people have to have the light before they can receive the light. So if you're here, you know, 99 times out of 100, you're a light seeker. You're seeking it, right? You have the light, so you can receive this information. And we're gonna go ahead and go into chapter 27. The holy unity of the rich and the poor. The man to whom Allah hath given riches and blessed with a mind to employ them aright is peculiarly favored and highly distinguished. And why is it worded like that? It's like, it's rare to find someone who has wealth and also has a good mind, has integrity, you know, have these, you know, these characteristics where they're trying to do good. They're trying to help assist humanity. He looked on his wealth with pleasure, because it afforded him the means to do good. He protecteth the poor that are injured. He suffereth not the mighty to oppress the weak. He seeketh out objects of compassion. He inquireth into their wants. He relieveth them with judgments and without ostentation. Excuse me. He carrieth, he assisteth and rewardeth merit. He encourageth ingenuity and liberally promoteth every useful design. He carrieth his own great works. His country is enriched, and the labor is employed. He formeth new schemes, and the arts receiveth improvement. The benevolence of his mind is not checked by his fortune. He rejoiceth, therefore in riches, and his joy is blameless. Okay, so, I'm sorry, did I skip belonging to the poor of his neighborhood? And he defraudeth them not. Let me look up that word, superfluities, because that's definitely some that I don't use. Hang on one second. Okay, so superfluity is superabundance, a greater quantity than is wanted. All right, so excess, right? And just reading that again, he considered the excess of his table as belonging to the poor of his neighborhood, and he defrauded them not. So this is actually speaking about how we should see wealth and prosperity, being able to do more good, setting us up to be in this mindset to rule. And this is important because what is pushed on our people in the mainstream media, right? Like they're pushing us to want things, to get things, you know, get gold in your mouth, cars, get fake body parts, you know, clothes, designer clothes and all this stuff, and not building up you like internally. So they want us to keep this system going, to have no integrity, right? We can't rule from a righteous mindset at the rate that we're going. As Negroes, we would just be pushing this slavery system with all of this corruption and all of the terrible things are going. Like, who's thinking like, okay, you consider the excess wealth that you have is belonging to the poor of your neighborhood. You defraud them not. This is how we're supposed to be. But as Negroes, like what's pushed on us, we wouldn't do this, right? Nobody's trying to really look out for anyone else or help. And so we have a hand raised. Islam.
Arise and give praise to Allah, honors to His Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, honors to all you more than attendance. I just wanted to add, this made me think, like, when we talking about the law of attraction and, you know, well, we attract what we are, you know, we manifest what's in our thoughts. So if you cannot be trusted with the $100, Allah definitely is not going to bless you with the $1,000,000 because you can't be trusted because you don't know what to do with it. This right here is laying down the law on how we should conduct ourselves in our communities. As far as this is speaking on charity, this is speaking on, you know, just good character. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, thank you for sharing. All right, so yeah, this is setting us up to rule like the sister was saying, from the right mindset. Okay, and it's something that we have to almost combat. Okay, I can answer that question too in a minute. I'll get to that if the sister's still on here. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, this is setting us up to rule from a righteous mindset, right? And it's setting us up to do the opposite of how this system is setting things up, because there's many who are in positions like of extreme wealth, and they're just hoarding, right? And it's not helping them. It's not improving their life, because if they're hoarding, which we will actually get to, it's explaining later on in this chapter, if you're hoarding, then you're in fear of the others finding out. You're in fear of the others finding out how you're defrauding them. You fear the people waking up because the people outnumber you. All right. So going on to verse 9, but woe unto him that heapeth up wealth in abundance and rejoiceth alone in the possession thereof, that grindeth the face of the poor and considereth not the sweat of their brows. He driveth in oppression without feeling. The ruin of his brother disturbeth him not. The tears of the orphan he drinketh as milk. The cries of the widow are music to his ears. His heart hardened with the love of wealth. No grief or distress can make impression upon it. Right? But the curse of iniquity, which let's look that word up too. Don't really use that very often, but iniquity. Okay, basically unrighteousness, wickedness, and that is key 13. But the curse of iniquity pursueth him. He lived in continual fear. The anger and the rapacious desires of his own soul take vengeance upon him for the calamities he has brought upon others. Okay, so people that are literally wicked, they're allowing this wealth and this extreme wealth that they have to like basically turn them into monsters. They live in continual fear, right? They're always worried about being discovered, being exposed. Oh, what are the miseries of poverty in comparison with the gnawings of this man's heart? Let the poor man comfort himself. Yes, rejoice, for he hath many reasons. He has many reasons to rejoice, right? He doesn't have all of that fear and anxiety on him because of all the evil that they know that they're doing, right? He sitteth down to his morsel in peace. His table is not crowded with flatterers and devourers, people that are only around them because of their money, and devourers, people that literally want their spot. They always have people, you know, like I've seen some of the people that they have wealth, and like when they die, their children are all like fighting amongst each other. They're all suing each other and going through all of this stuff to get whatever they have, whatever their estate is that's left behind, right? And so, you know, they're literally surrounded by people that just want their spot. They want their wealth. They want it, right? He is not embarrassed with a train of dependents, nor teased with the clamors of solicitations, right? They always have people asking for money, and a train of dependents. They have just literally a ton of people that are just living off of them, right? And it's embarrassing because you're, as a grown-up, you know, you don't want to be in that position where you're having to ask somebody for money, but they have a bunch of people that are living off of them. They don't have any real friends because their friends are living off of them. You know, it's terrible. Nobody wants to be in that position. Debarred from the dainties of the rich, he escapeth also their diseases. The bread that he eateth is not so sweet to his taste. The water he drinketh is not so pleasant to his thirst. Yea, far more delicious water than the richest draughts of the luxurious. And basically, he has much to be thankful for. He should be thankful already. His labor preserveth his health, and procureth him a repose to which the dawning bed of sloth is a stranger. Right? He's actually working, and so he's healthy. He limiteth his desires with humility, and the calm of contentment is sweeter to his soul than all the acquirements of wealth and grandeur. Let not the rich, therefore, presume on his riches, nor the poor in his poverty yield to despondence. And despondence is lack of courage. For the providence of Allah despiseth happiness to them both. And hang on, let me take this off the screen. I'm not sure what went wrong there. So both the rich and the poor owe their happiness to Allah for the most part. This is what it's telling us right there. And just to go back over that, for the most part, humanity can be classed into two broad economic classes, the rich and the poor, but they both have the same divine instructions, right? So their economic conditions, whether they're rich or poor, doesn't like excuse them. Like they both have divine instructions, right? They're supposed to still work towards strengthening their virtues, regardless of whether they're like being rich doesn't excuse you from being a decent person, right? And so that's the direct correlation to the manifestation of either your virtues or your vices, right? The vices, remember, these are the things of your lower nature, and then the virtues of your higher nature, right? So it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, right? We all need to have a relationship with Allah, and these are the divine instructions basically for the rich and the poor, because Allah is the source of happiness, right? Wealth is not the source of happiness, nor is lack of wealth the source of happiness. Islam. So either way, you know, we all have what we need from Allah, and in the first part of this chapter, though, my take on it is that it's setting us up to actually be able to rule, and to rule from our higher self. Because as we can see with how the world is now, what many of us see, the wealthy, maybe not all of the wealthy, but many of the people that are in these positions are abusing that power that they have. And a lot of this stuff is going to wind up getting exposed, believe it or not. They live in constant fear of that, of being found out, the wickedness being exposed, the people finding out that, hey, there's no need for anyone to be poor or hungry. There's no need for anyone to be homeless. There's enough wealth for everyone. In this modern age, there's enough for everyone to have what they need, right? The only reason people are suffering is because they are banking off of it. Okay, so they live in fear of that being found out. And that's, you know, that's wild and crazy. And we're being taught to do the opposite so that we don't continue this cycle. Because if we continue this cycle, we're gonna have our ancestors will have to suffer the consequences for it. Islam. If anyone else has anything that they took from this chapter or anything they want to share, feel free to speak up. I'll yield the floor, and then we'll open up to questions. Well, okay, real quick, if nobody has anything to add on this, it was a question. I don't even think that sister's in here anymore, but I'm gonna go ahead and address it because this needs to be spoken on. Now, the sister said in the chat, like on the side, that would it be a problem, I guess, if you or more, but you're an atheist or a non-believer? Because she was basically saying, like, when you start talking about religion, she zones out. And so, like, I understand that because I've been through that as well, and many of us have. But the one problem with that mindset is that our saving power, our salvation is in returning to our divine creed. Our divine creed is Islamism. I'm going to explain what Islamism is. And if anybody still has a problem with it, we're all going to be looking at you like, what's wrong with you? Now, I'm just joking, but hang on one second. Let me go to what is Islam?
Islam, while you get that together, I would like to add that after studying this stuff and studying self, really, it's all about studying self. I mean, we're coming from a scientific point of view. That means we research, we study, we don't listen to what we are told because man knows not by being told. So we cannot just be online and formulating these opinions based on what other people are posting, based on other people's point of view, based on other, you know, just mere observation of what's going on around you, because those are distractions. That's the bird brains and the monkey chatter, okay, that's going on all the time that we have to step out of, zone out, and go back within, because after understanding that God is in you, there's no way you're not going to be believing in God. Don't get caught up in the terminology. We're saying Islam and you associate that with Arabs and Middle East and hijabs. Like, nah, we talking about pure peace. That's what Islam means, period, peace. And when you become one with yourself, you become one with the Creator, and you could find peace right there. Islam.
All right, Islam. So as the sister said, it's returning to peace, and peace is universal, right? It's not limited to the Arabians' point of view or what they're practicing. It's not limited to anything. It's universal. It's not even limited to this planet. All right. And so that's what the prophet returned us to, something which is ancient. But also, like, to have a problem with religion shows that more than likely we're not really understanding what religion means, because when you look at the definition of religion, this is saying to tie or bind back into, right? And we are tying and buying back into God, right? That's what religion, when you look at the definition, is tying or binding back into God, all right? And so we are tying and binding back into our ancient connection with divinity, right? Like within this Holy Quran, it's teaching you right out bat with the creation and fall of man that that Allah is within you. You know, you came into the physical body. All these different aspects of, you know, Allah came into the physical body in us, and that we're going through this school that we call Earth, or, you know, whatever people want to refer to this as. Just it's an experience, but we are still connected to Allah, you know, the infinite, and that's ancient. And actually, the way that the Moorish Science Temple of America is set up, it's a government that is a constitutional, theocratic monarchy. Ancient Egypt, okay, was a theocratic monarchy that was ruled, okay, you had a ruler, a paheru, a pharaoh, who was representing, you know, Allah's will on earth. And you had a priesthood who were actually advising and running things. The priest class that was actually running things. They were actually, you know, around the pharaoh and telling them what to do, or telling her what to do. All right. So it was a theocratic monarchy. Theocratic meaning of God. Monarchy meaning, you know, you had kings and queens. You had you didn't have people who were voted for. They were appointed. And so you can't remove the religion from it. And why would you want to? Like, a lot of us like to say we're the ancient Egyptians, or we like ancient Kemet. And it's like, okay, well, this is the only thing that gives you legitimate claim to that, to ancient Egypt. Why? Because as Moors, we know that ancient Egypt was a worldwide culture. And the prophet brought us this system back. We have a theocratic monarchy again, just like we had in those days. So you can't remove that aspect of it. You cannot remove that aspect of it. I understand people want to rebel against religion, and I'm not trying to belittle that. I've been through it, we've been on this path for a long time now. Many years, okay? It's been a long time. So, you know, we've been there, all right? Not saying it to belittle that for people who, you know, feel like, you know, they're done with religion. I understand. But sometimes the journey takes us back full circle. We went through that as well. And then we came back to the beginning, but we see it from a new perspective with eyes that are, you know, open wider. They can take in more. They have a different understanding on things. So no, you can't remove the religion because it's ancient and it's divine and it's your salvation. So we are returning to the ways of our ancestors. All right. And this is what we're told throughout our literature within the Moorish Science Temple of America. We suffered because we strayed away from our ways and we followed after the ways of the European. So there's plenty of Europeans that are atheists. There's plenty of Europeans that are striking out and doing that too. We don't need to do that. We were never like that. We were always connected to God, right? The Creator was always a constant part of our life and everything that we did. We didn't remove the Creator from our government. That's a problem, right? You see how things are being run now. So we're bringing that back. Things need to be run from the higher self, from a higher plane. The decisions that we make need to be made from people that are in alignment with their higher self. And so they're making decisions from their higher self. And this is getting us back into that. And so a big part of the religion, you know, for the most part, is just working on ourselves, right? Working on ourselves. There's no, Allah never made a heaven or a hell for man. It's a state of mind, right? So this is not telling people about some spooky, invisible stuff. Well, there are things that can't be seen by the physical eyes, but not talking about that. So we're not dealing with, you know, it's the more science temple of America. All right. And then just with Islam, Islam is a simple faith, very simple faith. Skipping some of this, it is preeminently the religion of peace. The very name Islam means peace. The goal of a man's life, according to Islam, is peace with everything, peace with Allah, and peace with man. Then in the Quran, the holy book of Islam, it tells us that the final abode of man is the house of peace, where no vain word or sinful discourse will be heard. The holy divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, says that a follower of Islam in the true sense of the word is one whose hands, tongue, and thoughts do not hurt others. Why? Because we know that even when you step on the meanest worm, you're shaking the throne of Allah. All of us are connected to Allah. All right. The object of man's life, according to Islam, is its complete unfoldment. Islam teaches that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress. So this is also a process that we have to go back into. You have to return back to your divine creed. Islam teaches us that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress. It does not support the idea that man was born in sin. What taught us that we were born in sin? What did many of us get born into? Right? Most of us, probably everyone in here, your family, whether they went to church or not, consider themselves Christians. Even the thugs are wearing the Jesus chain, right? Right? So we just, you know, we're under that yoke of Christianity, and Christianity teaches you that you are born in sin, that you're messed up right out the gate. So you have to, you have to come out of that. All right. And then also being under that, you're a creation of the European. European created the Negro in 1774. And when they named something, when you name something, you own it. You know, Allah gave Adam the power to name everything, all the creatures and plants. All right. And that has a metaphysical meaning to it. But when you name everything, you have dominion over it. All right. From the metaphysical perspective, it's just telling you that as you name things in your life, that's what it will be for you. All right. But yes, you have dominion over things you name. So the European named us. He get one of us to come out and make it cool to be called African American. But it was his idea. So he has dominion over us. And that's why they can kill us. And it doesn't matter how many of us are out here protesting. Like we've been protesting for 50, 60 years now. It's not going to do anything. They have dominion over you. We're their pets. They can do whatever they want. And then as a Christian or under that yoke, you didn't do anything to get out from under that, you're still under their dominion. All right. And that means that you were born in sin when that's not true. We have to return to our ancient and divine ways. All right. So Islam teaches that everyone has within them the seed of perfect development, and it rests solely with himself to make or mar his fortune. All right. So we're not looking to the Arabs, not knocking them, not being disrespectful, but we're not looking to them like for guidance, right? They have problems just like everyone else. They can't really tell us anything. We're returning to the root. The prophet brought it to us. We don't need to go to anyone else as the authority. We have ours. We have someone that was from amongst us. When you look at the Holy Quran of Mecca, right? It's brought forth by, revealed by Prophet Muhammad. Within the Holy Quran, in 3 different places, it tells you that a prophet will be sent, that Allah will send a prophet to every nation from amongst them and speaking their language. All right. And that's in, just real quick, that's in Surah 10, 36, 14:4, and 16:37, 16:36. 16:36 says, and we certainly sent into every nation a messenger, right? And then it's saying that in 2 other surahs as well. Okay, and so this is an extremely important message, and not only that, but it's making it known that we sent a messenger. We sent not a messenger except to teach in the language of his own people in order to make it clear for them. All right, and this is This is in the Quran 3 different times, telling you that Allah makes sure that they send a messenger. A messenger is the highest up prophet. It's a Rasul. They send a Rasul to every nation from amongst the people and speaking their language. All right. This is something that most of the Arabs are not going to tell you, either because they don't know, or they're willfully keeping it, keeping quiet on it, right? And so they can't tell us anything, and that's just the truth. Like Allah sent us a divine prophet from amongst us, born in North Carolina, you know, speaking our language, going through the problems that we were going through, so he knew intimately what we were going through, and with the salvation, with the way out. For someone from North Carolina, born in 1886, to have this knowledge and understanding before the internet and all this stuff, it's easy to take this for granted now. But for that to happen, that was extremely incredible and amazing. All right. And so we have the salvation, the way out, and all we have to do is follow suit. Islam. All right. So unless anybody has any questions or anything they want to add on this holy day, we're going to go into the closing of the meeting. All right. Let's see. Brother Seymour Bey, could you read the additional laws in the back of the Quran questionnaire?
Islam.
Islam.
Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses, each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before acting upon by any member, that it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group or members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restrictions, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their added meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second will be fined $1, which will go towards your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has the money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able to finance, to aid me in saving the nation. If he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch him. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power to invest in my hands, and I have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school come the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names are given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, who who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and care for your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey fathers and mothers and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep in their hearts, all Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Islamism.
All right, Islamism. Thank you, brother. All right, see, Brother Kobe, would you be able to read the writs for us?
Islam. Arise and give praise to our great God Allah. Rise and give honors to our prophet Noble Drew Ali. Rise and give honors to all Moors on the call and all Muslims across the world. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam. This is instruction from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefather divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good works that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. Then the times are drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Drew Ali, and that is why many hearts have turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice your utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, and on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that thought that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that pay their divine respects to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movements. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finances so badly as I do at present, so I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Happy Holy Day, Moors.
Islam.
Islam. All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. We're gonna go ahead and close out. Thank you all for coming. Happy Holy Day. Oh, yeah. 1 second before we close, Brother Thomas Bay, would you please read the divine warning?
Islam, happy holy day. First, I rise giving praise to Allah, honors to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, honors to all you Moors in attendance. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitutions, are all one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classified as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of the free national government and cling to names and principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state and mind of their forefathers, divine and national principles, that they will be law-abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens, according to free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and the earth, and it comes only through the connection to the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under a free national constitution of their state's government and not under granted privilege, as has been the existing conditions for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those who know law in City Hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. Money does not make the man. It is a free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belongs to the citizens alone.
Islam, are we still there?
Peace, I can hear you.
All right. Islam, okay.
Islam, I can.
Thomas Bay cut out.
Yeah, may have tapped that mute button by accident.
All right. Hang on a second. Yeah, brother cut out after he said the wealth belongs to the citizens alone. So let me just pick up. Okay, maybe he's trying to come back in. All right. You know what? I'll go ahead and finish it. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I'm depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and I desire their unity and mind back to their own national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike in all other governments. When a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name and he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners who were at the time without power with a constitutional body of power. At that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law was enforced since 1774, declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people of this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. Earthquake and disease. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find a true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin, and there's not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc. In their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world, trying to tell everybody Black Lives Matter, they will now refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses, but I've traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. I'm hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work, to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light from the Prophet. That is from April 19th, 1935. Want to thank all you Moors. Happy Holy Day. Peace. Love you all. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Please face the east for the closing prayer. Right, Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine freedom principles. We ask this in thy holy name and the seven Elohim. Amen. Islam, Islam, Islamism.
Islamism.
Islam. I apologize, Moors. We got our
Peace.
internet cut off by the little one.
No problem at all. Make sure y'all check out that moon tonight.
Islam.
Islam.
Y'all check it out. Islam.
Sure. Peace.
Islam, peace and love. Happy Holy Day.
Peace and love.
Holy
Man.
Day.
All right. Just want to say peace and love, Moors. Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like and share this video. Peace.